Hey, what's up everyone? How you guys doing today? Hopefully everybody is awesome. Let me see how I got this thing set up. I gotta find the game video. There we go. Ba-bam. Here we go. Here we go. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you guys can hear me because so far I can't hear myself. I might be blind or deaf or something. All right, there we go. That should probably fix it. What's up, Mentos? What's up, Missy Scott? Ucha, what's going on? Kim, hello, hello. Angelo, nice to see ya. Mr. Toilet, we got Dylan, we got Tab. El Moniker, how's it going? We got Mentos. Nice to see you guys. I hope everybody's day is going awesome so far. Yeah, thanks for coming out today, everybody. You guys are amazing. Awesome to see you guys. All right, so let me check one thing really quickly before we start answering questions. But yeah, if you guys got game questions, feel free to answer them for sure. Oh. All right, so that's going. Let me make sure that is set correctly. So that looks like that's going about where we want it. Yeah. Cool. Looks like everything is set. I had a weird streaming malfunction the other day, so I had to reset some stuff and perfect. Looks like everything's where we need it. Cool, cool. All right, so if anybody won the giveaway, I forgot to mention the video, it does often take somewhere between a couple of days or sometimes for up to 2 weeks for Pixonic to send the prizes out. So I'm not really sure how long this is going to take them or when they're going to send them, but normally less than 2 weeks. So your prizes should be coming pretty soon. Mento says, what weapons do I have on the Scorpion? Well, if you're talking about this game, I have no idea. This is an old recorded game from a while back. But normally I would run these sonic weapons on the Scorpions. I think those are the absolute best thing you can put on a Scorpion for the most part. Anything that just does a lot of damage. Now that new weapon that's going to be coming out on the next update with the crazy reptilian alien robot. Those weapons with the 100-meter range, those will probably be like the absolute best thing you can put on the Scorpion once they come out. But as of right now, I am a huge fan of sonic weapons on Scorpion. With Scorpion, you just want something where you can go in, do as much damage as possible in a couple of seconds, and then spawn back out of there. So anything that does big damage fast is what you want on your Scorpion. All right. What about poison damage over time? Havoc. Missy Scott says Havoc and Scatter are really good. 661. How you doing today? Tab says something about chocolate milk. I don't know. Mr. Toilet says make sure you like and subscribe. Definitely. I would appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Mr. Toilet. What about damage? What Tab is talking about damage over there. I see a lot of damage all over the battlefield all the time. Ah, man. Nightcrawler, what's up? Nice to see ya. Paiwa, what's up? I probably said your name really wrong. But yeah, just about every game, there's somebody doing some sort of damage during the game, whether it's on my team or the other team. Sometimes it's me doing the damage, but damage exists in War Robots. Damage exists. Kim Sophie says, please send me your ID. Alright, so even if you had my ID, I don't I'm not really accepting a bunch of friend requests. You're only allowed to have so many friends, and I don't know. I'm really only going to accept friend requests from people I know personally very well, because you can only have so many friends on there and stuff like that. So I'm going to be very picky and choosy as to who I add as friends for the most part. Brad said, did Pixonic change the range of the Shenla? Well, we don't know, buddy. The test server is there for testing, so from week to week, things on the test server may be different. But we won't know how they're going to have it when it goes live. When it goes live, it could have a very short range. It could have a long range. We don't know. It'll be interesting, but we won't know what the finalized version is going to look like until it actually goes live. Like I say, never judge anything too much by the way it is currently on the test server. That's there for testing and for them to figure out what they want to do with it when they make it live. So I don't remember what the different ranges were, but last time I played it, I think it had about a 350 meter range on it. So personally, I think that's about where it should be. I don't think something that powerful should be able to teleport 500 or 600 meters or whatever. I think 3 or 350 is probably about right for something like that, because I think it's going to be very, very deadly. It's going to be like a way crazier version of Scorpion when it comes out. So if it's got a long range, that's going to dominate the battlefield. And it's going to be like the Newton. If it's got long range, it's just going to wreck you from 1,000,000 meters away. So let's hope it does not. Alright, so Mento says, Danny, I have a curry with the Ultimate Glory Mark II level 8 and a Subduer. Mentos, there's no reason for you to change that setup unless you actually want to. Just remember, the Glory requires you to be as close as possible to do the most damage. So if you're willing to play it at really close range, that setup's going to work just fine. I mean, that's two top-notch weapons that will work really well together if you play it correctly. Now, if you don't like the way that the weapons are working together, at that point, that's about the only reason you might want to change it, if it's not working well for you. If you're like, hey, I don't like this, or, you know, this isn't doing well for me, that's about the only time you want to change that, because I mean, that's a top-notch build as long as you play it at a close range. Oh yeah, those weapons on my those weapons on the Scorpion in this video, that's the Bane Toxin and I forget what the other one's called, but the DOT weapons, the acid sprayers, the green toilet water sprayers. Nightcrawler says, what's the difference between the Northern Light and the Paladin? Ah, man, you're gonna make me open the game and look at this, because I don't remember. I know a lot of people love the Paladin, but I've never really liked it for some reason. That's the one mothership I've never really used much. I tried it out and I didn't care for it, and everybody else but me loved it, so I've kind of ignored that mothership. Let me go see exactly what that one does. I mean, Subduer, if you level it up enough, is going to wreck everything. What level is your Subduer, Mentos? Ashes, what's up? How you doing? Best module on the curry. Modules really do come down to personal preference, but I like to run a phase shift, a nuclear amplifier, and 2 of the immune amplifiers. That's my favorite curry setup. It just works out really, really well. Alright, let me look at this mothership really fast. So you're asking about the Paladin. I don't know why I don't like the Paladin, because everybody else loves it. I think I'm about the only person in the world who didn't like it. Alright, so the Paladin, this is what it does, right? After activating the ship's ability, the robot gains a temporary Aegis shield for 10 seconds. If the shield is not destroyed during this time, the robot will use the remaining energy in the shield to restore part of its gray damage. Regardless of this, at the end of the ship's ability, the robot will restore some of its durability. So this is not going to heal your friends. So let's just say you get a 300,000 Aegis shield, right? It gives you a temporary Aegis shield. Let's say you're back behind cover and nobody shoots you. It should restore a bunch of your gray damage if nobody shoots or destroys that shield by the time it ends. So I think the best time to use the Paladin is when you're behind cover, hit yourself with it, get that shield, and then if nobody shoots you, then that's when you really get the benefits of that. Plus you heal at the end as well. So it will give you about 125,000 hit points and restore a bunch of gray damage if you use it at the right time. So that's basically what that mothership is going to do for you right there. But no, it does not heal your friends up. It'll just heal you up. I like something that I can use during a fight, and in my opinion, it just doesn't work well during a fight, so. Missy Scott says, where's our normal peeps? I don't know. Asari, what's up? Nice to see ya. Asari says, what about him? Who is him? I don't know what him is. Oh. Kyle says, do you know Hell's Freddy? A little bit. Not really. I mean, I've talked to him a few times, but I don't know him well. Not personally, at least. Mentos Subduers are very good weapons. I mean, they're some of the best in the game. Yep, the green toilet water sprayers. That's what I've always called those things. I always call the special edition ones the orange juice dispensers. We got one that shoots green toilet water and one that shoots orange juice, right? But no, some of the descriptions on things are not exactly clear. So a while back, and I don't really know why Pixonic did this, but a while back they put out a little poll and asked people, hey, should we add more stuff to the description, or should we add less or keep it the same? And the majority of players who answered the poll said they wanted less in the description. That they said the descriptions were too long, it goes into too much detail. And due to the answers, Pixonic decided, hey, we're not going to put as much stuff in the robots and motherships and weapons descriptions anymore. And now we don't get enough information for a lot of this stuff. So I think that kind of backfired on us, honestly. For example, if you look at the, the Heimdall Titan, I don't think it even mentions that it has a physical shield. And I don't think it tells you how many hit points the physical shield has. So they're leaving very important parts out of certain things now because they're trying to give us less information. So there's just certain things that you don't know how they work or what it does because the description no longer really tells you, which kind of sucks. All right, so Everton24 wants to know, Danny, what drone should I use on my leech? I just want it from a super chest. All right, so you're looking for a drone on your leech. Leech is a really fun robot, and it can be very good if you play it correctly. I think probably if I had to choose something... All right, first off, play the leech from a distance. Find some long-range weapons, play it from a distance. It's a really, really good support as long as nobody gets close to you. It does die very easy, so I think I would either run a shy drone if possible, or maybe a reviver drone. Reviver might bring you back to life since you're so squishy. If you die really quickly and don't have a lot of gray damage saved up, that reviver might bring you back to life. Another one that would be really good would also be the paralysis drone so you could lock people down. So It's going to come down to personal preference, but I think those would be my 3 top choices for the leech. I think any of those 3 drones would work really, really, really good on the leech. Now, I did make a leech video not too long ago. I can't remember what drone I was using on it at the time, but it did seem to work out. Now, other thoughts is I think a Persephone could be an okay drone. If you don't have any of the other ones, a Persephone would be acceptable. Whiteout would be nice just in case somebody gets close to you. Another one that could probably do pretty well is like a Kestrel or a Deltaki. I mean, there's a lot of good choices, but the first couple I mentioned are probably going to be the best choices in my opinion. Those are the ones I would run. What about a Hurricane? Alien, say what now, man? He got 3 Hurricanes? Oh my god. Oh Lord. What are you gonna... I don't think I would want a Hurricane, man. That's crazy. Oh yeah, level 3 weapon's not gonna do nothing, Mentos. You gotta get your weapons leveled up. If the weapon ain't doing any damage because it's low level, it's not gonna do good at all. What's up, Camo something something Cano D Free Fire Brazilian? Hey, your name's too long. I can't read it. Welcome to the stream though. All right. I don't like the Hurricane weapons, honestly. I think I probably haven't got to your full comment yet, but I don't like the Hurricanes. They're just kind of so-so weapons. If you notice, nobody in Champion League's really running them because they're kind of just I guess. They might be okay in a team deathmatch, but I don't think I would run them in beacon games, honestly. But yeah, Northern Light's a cool mothership. I mean, these days, though, I do feel like what's most important in the mothership is going to be the turret slots, because you never know when they might nerf your mothership, right? They could nerf the ability, they could nerf it into the ground, it could suck. But if you got 2 good turrets or 3 good turrets on a mothership, that'll be a pretty good thing for you. But yeah, Alien, I don't like the Hurricanes personally. I feel like they're really cool weapons, but they don't do enough damage. And it seems like they reload a little long. I mean, if you're playing like a Fafnir or something, maybe a Typhon in the team deathmatch, and you just want to stand in the back and pummel people with the Hurricanes. If you had a team that was there to help protect you, that knew you were back there, it might work out, but I don't think they're really a great choice for weapons for most things. They're just kind of so-so, right? Bread Flavor said I was there destroying other people, include. You were where? Where is there, man? I don't know where there is. He said he was destroying me. He was somewhere destroying me. You know, that's not very nice. Alright, Masari said I should run the Demeter. So on question and answer streams, we have pre-recorded game footage. Because I can't play and focus on reading the chat at the same time. It's pretty much impossible. So this is just some old game footage. But yeah, Nightcrawler, if you like your Northern Light, it's okay. It's not a bad ship. I mean, they did nerf it. It's not as good as it used to be. But if you find that it's working for you, by all means, keep running that thing. Alright, so Chessmaster says I have Bane and Prototype Toxin, Cruel Angler. Alright, so Banes aren't the world's greatest weapons, but they are definitely playable. So I think they would be an okay choice. So there's a lot of things I would run instead of a Bane. You know, I mean, they're decent. They're not good. They're not bad. They're kind of decent. I feel like they work best on a tanky robot, something that survives a long time, because those weapons do very little damage, but they do a lot of DOT damage where they slowly drain your health away, right? But the actual weapon damage itself is low, but the DOT is very high. So it does take a while for that to accumulate and add up to a lot of damage, but I could put some Banes on like a really tinky robot, like a Fenrir or an Invader, that type of weapon, Banes and Toxins, and it'll do pretty good. It definitely would not be my first choice, but it's definitely something I would be able to play just fine if I didn't have anything else. So that's kind of my opinion on those weapons. Whether or not you should upgrade it, I don't know what else you have or what you have available, but they're decent. They're decent. They're not great, but they're decent. What's up, Zerf? Missy Scott says, I can't wait to get my robots leveled up. And then she says, Danny, you do that even on the question and answer. LOL. I don't follow. Was that supposed to be a joke? Dark Matter. Yeah, how was your birthday, buddy? Hope it was awesome. Just for fun, what's going on? So just for fun, so every time you hit one of those thresholds on the pass kill, it'll activate for a few seconds. So when you do get that defense point bonus from the pass kill drone, it only lasts for a few seconds. Now, if you trigger two of them at the same time, it does look like they will both trigger at the same time, but I think they only last for 10 seconds each, so you might be able to stack that up for a very, very brief period of time. Now, if those defense points actually stayed more than a few seconds, that might be a lot better, but the Pascal is a cool drone. I mean, some people probably think it's a lot better than it actually is. It's not a bad drone. It's a nice drone. I do like it, but it's not as crazy as a lot of people think it is. So, but yes, it does appear from the testing we did, it does appear that it'll stack, but like I said, you might get a few seconds each. You would have to hit them both at the exact same time to get both of those stacks active at the exact same time, which probably isn't going to happen. I could be wrong. Wait a second. I'm thinking about the wrong thing, aren't I? I'm thinking about the defense points. You're talking about the damage on the drone. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I'm telling you about the wrong thing here. I misread that. Let me check out the Pascal's, let me check out his description really quick. I need to read the description. Now I've confused myself because I realize I've messed it up there. All right, so you're talking about the on-kill assist bonus, right? So every time you get a kill or assist, you're going to get an additional 7% more damage. The effect can be applied multiple times up to no limit. So if you get a kill and then you instantly get an assist, you should get 2 stacks on it, right? So the answer would be yes, it should stack. I mean, there's no limit on the amount of stacks on that drone. So yes, I believe it does. Now, I can't remember if there's a time limit on that, though, is there? Additional damage. Resist bonus damage. It doesn't say if there's a time limit. I can't remember. My memory is terrible. Oh, wait, no, wait a second. Now this says the bonus stacks up to 5 times. Why does it say there was no limit a second ago? These descriptions are very confusing. Hold on a second. Was I reading the wrong thing? I don't know. Okay, so you can get up to 5 stacks. So you're not going to get more than 5 stacks, but basically your first 5 kills and or assists are going to start stacking that up, and you can only have 5 stacks at a time. All right. Hopefully that answers your question there. Yeah, I was reading the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm also dyslexic, so I'm not very good at reading. Not joking. Missy Scott says underwear can't concentrate. Missy Scott's over there talking about underwear. That's gross, Missy Scott. That's gross. Just for fun, it should be kills and assists, unless something's changed recently. So if you don't think it's working, I mean, I guess the only way to know for sure is go into a game when running that, get a kill, and on the left-hand side of the screen, a little bonus damage thing should pop up. But it should work for kills and assists, unless something's wrong with it. Kelk, what's up, buddy? You got 6 inches of snow? Yeah, I think we only got like an inch. It's freaking cold though. It's currently 14 degrees outside and cold, but we didn't get too much snow. Dark is looking to build a strong Revenant. All right, so in order to build a strong Revenant, you need to max out the pilot. Unfortunately, Revenant is very dependent on the pilot skills, so it's kind of an expensive robot. You gotta Mark 3 the Revenant, you gotta max out the pilot, then you gotta have all the good modules and stuff on it. So once they buff the Revenant, I will be making a new Revenant build video. I'll be going over all the pilot skills and stuff. I gotta check to see if there's new ones, because sometimes they add new skills to the pilots periodically. So once it gets the buff, I'm gonna do some testing and figure out what's the best setup for that thing again, because it may be a little different than it was last time. All right, so Bellsprout, you're now in Champion League and you're having more fun than ever. You think Masters was harder? That's weird. That doesn't make sense. AMR, not really sure what that is. How to say that, I should say, but welcome to the stream. Riptide, what's up? No, unfortunately, there is no such thing as an iOS emulator that I know of. There might be one out there, but I've never heard of it. I don't know if something new has come out, but most of the emulators are only for Android. And unfortunately, you cannot log on to an iOS account on something like LD Player or BlueStacks. You can only log on to Android accounts. Apple's got a lot of weird rules and regulations, and Apple doesn't allow a lot of things like that to use their stuff. So iOS is very, very restrictive, I would say. AMR says, all the robots I got: Ophion, Leech Shell, Crisis, Orochi, Lynx. And I have just 4 slots for now. What should I use and upgrade? All right, so number 1, don't spend any more gold until you have 5 slots open. It's very important to have all 5 robot slots. All right, so don't spend your gold until you get all 5. Now, Ophion is top notch. So out of those 4 robots, I would say I would run the Ophion, the Leech, the Shell, and probably the Crisis right now. Now, Orochi is probably going to be getting a buff, so it might become a lot better in a moment. So that answer may change after they buff it. It may not. But the thing with the Orochi is it dies really easy. So I think Crisis Shell, Leech, and Ophion are pretty nice robots. I'm not really sure what league you're in or whatever, but those will do you pretty well if you build them and set them up correctly. Leech is not the best robot in the world, but if you play it right, it can do excellent. That's kind of what I consider a skill bot, because you really rely on using its ability and trying to stay back from other robots. You want to play the Leech from long distance. Crisis, you want to play from a distance too. So those are two longer range robots. But yeah, those are pretty nice. Now the Ophion is going to get nerfed. They are downgrading the Ophion, so we're not 100% sure how good it's going to be. We got about, how many days do we have left? We got about 6 days left until the new update hits. So sometime in the next 6 to 15 days, the new rebalances will probably go live. I mean, it could even be sooner. I'm not really sure when the rebalances will go live, but we probably got around 6-ish days. Maybe a little longer. So anything that's on that list of being buffed and nerfed, just remember those things are being changed. I did make a video about that not too long ago. I can't remember everything on the list, but I know Ophion is getting downgraded, so it's hard to know how good that's going to be after the downgrade. But at this moment, it's a really good robot. Night Crawler's over there saying, pull my finger. Dude, I'm not pulling your finger. No way, man. No way. All right. Alien says, Danny, I think Pixonic should create a HUD bar for physical shields, just like energy shields. You know, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I think that would be wonderful. Now, I'm assuming we've probably, or somebody has probably mentioned them before, but I think that would be great. I haven't really thought about that for a while, but I have thought about that in the past and wondered why we don't have that for physical shields. Maybe I'll screenshot that comment and show it to Pixonic and be like, hey, this guy's right. We should have that. Can't hurt to bring it up to him again, right? Dark says snow is super rare where he lives. What's my favorite meta robot? Probably the Curry right now. I really enjoy playing the Curry. It's really good if you play it correctly, and it's really fun. So, it's just a lot of fun. Skyro says, how to get the ultimate Ming. Alright. My guess would be spend a whole bunch of money. I don't know for sure, but more than likely it's going to require you to spend a bunch of money to get the ultimate Ming. But I have no idea how they're going to offer it into the game. I don't know if it's going to be in chest or if it's going to be in the leaderboards or what. They don't really discuss that kind of information with me, so I have no idea. Baby Blue says, Danny, if the Ochikochi is in the game, isn't it best if the team get rid of that robot first? It would not be a bad idea to focus on getting rid of the biggest threats in the game first. Now, that requires your team to work together very well. Now, I'm not really sure what league you're in or what it's like, but when we jump into the Champion League gameplay, sometimes there's 3, 4, 5 of these things on the field at one time, so that makes things rough. But if there's only one on the field, if you can, you do got to focus on making sure, if you're playing a beacon game, I should say, you do got to make sure you focus on making sure your team's getting the beacons. But you also have to kind of work together with your team to take out the biggest threats. Like if you see a healer, that's one of the first things you should take out as a healer, because you don't want it running around healing everything up. So let's just say there's a Mender and an Ochikochi. I would take out the Mender first because the Mender is possibly going to make that Ochikochi even stronger because it's going to sit there and heal it up. So take out the healers first and then the strongest robot second. That's kind of how I look at it. Riptide just started playing again. Well, welcome back. I guess BlackBerry and iOS. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Blackberries. I think you're talking about those BlackBerry phones. Do they even make those anymore? I'm not really sure what a BlackBerry is. I know they used to be popular back in the day, but I'm not really familiar with them. But I don't think they have the same operating system as Android or iOS, but I could be wrong. Riptide says, when I left, Siren and Harpy were meta. I think the Harpy is still really cool. Things have changed a lot, though. I mean, things are very, very different now compared to when Harpy and Siren were meta. Like, the weapons and the robots have become so much more powerful. So, the new stuff is crazy on this game. Super, super crazy. Mitos, how's it going? Dark South, East, are you near me? Dark Matter is from Georgia. Riptide said, what is the most meta out of these? Kefri, Siren, Shell, and Skyros. Well, Kefri is still an awesome little tank. Siren's got a lot of firepower, but it's squishy. I mean, it still can be played, but it's not going to be one of my first choices. Shell, I don't really have any luck with my Shell. There are some people who do well with a Shell, but I don't do well with a Shell at all. Like, I can't stand playing my Shell. It could just me. I might just suck with the Shell. I don't know, but I can't play the Shell worth a darn, even if it's maxed out. Now, Skyros, Skyros is still a really good robot for getting beacons and being extremely durable. The only problem with the Skyros, though, is the new weapons. And the good news is they're getting nerfed, so this may or may not be a problem after the nerf. But those new Rust weapons eat the Skyros into little teeny pieces like it's nothing. Anything else in the game has a really hard time. So the Rust weapons and the Reapers both give Skyros a problem. But maybe after they nerf those weapons, it won't be so bad. But I would say Kefri is definitely worth playing. Skyros is definitely worth playing. Siren, if you're very, very careful with it and you play it as a mid-range or long-range support, it can still do very well. And Shell can do pretty good, but I can't really comment too much on that because I can't play mine worth a darn. But I do go up against some other players who play the heck out of that Shell and do great with it. Hopefully that helps. I know it's not a direct answer, but I hope that helps. Alright, so I'm not so sure going to be doing Hangar review live streams anymore because unfortunately there's way more people at the stream that there's okay, it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to do a Hangar review, I've noticed. And there's way more people there than I have time to review. And there's a lot of people leaving upset because some people get reviewed, some people don't. The Hangar reviews are very stressful and very chaotic, and they're not going very smoothly for everybody. So I'm not sure that I'm going to do the Hangar reviews because a lot of people are leaving upset or angry. And I don't want to, leave a bunch of people mad because they gave me their idea a few times and I wasn't able to get to it or I missed it. So I don't know. It just seems like it might be better not to do those on live streams. All right, Bread wants to know what can counter the Ochikochi. Unfortunately, not much of anything. So this is the problem with the Ochikochi, right? If it goes into its ability, it gets defense points. If you shoot it, it gets more defense points. And the more you shoot it, the stronger it gets, and the majority of players, and probably including myself, have a bad habit of shooting the Ochi-Kochi when it's in the ability. And then when the ability ends, it's still charged up with all these defense points. Now, if people don't shoot it and wait for the ability to end, then it's pretty easy to kill. But most people shoot the crap out of it and charge it up and make it almost invincible. And then when the ability ends, you still can't kill it because it's still charged from everybody shooting the ability. So it's a very hard robot to deal with. But what we notice is right now, I think like the Rust and DOT weapons that just came out, like the Subduers, the Tricksters, the Tamers, those seem to do better than most weapons. And old school weapons with the bomb effect, like those old shotguns like Mace, Hammer, and Cudgel, those do pretty nice. And the weapons like the Splinters and Bersants, those newer shotguns, those are the main things that seem to do more damage to the Ochi-Kochi than other weapons. Ega says, why are the Hurricanes not meta? Nobody really likes them. Like, most people in Champion League play those and they just don't care for it, so they don't really play it. I don't like them personally. I don't feel like they do much damage. Just, I don't have good games when I play Hurricanes, so. Alright, so Chessmaster wants to know, should I run Lynx with 2 decays or 2 stakes? I would go with the decays over the stakes any day. The stakes are nice for the shield, but they do kind of low damage per second after the nerf, so they're not as good as they used to be. I would still run like the stakes and spikes and needles or whatever on the Skyros just to get the shield, but on most robots, I would much rather run something else these days. So yeah, I would say decays all day long. I would much rather run the decays myself. Edward, how's your day going? Alright, so Dylan's got a big question here. He says, Danny, do you think it's probable that the Newton with Fulgur and Tonans will get... Hold on, there's my dyslexia. The Newton with Fulgur and Tonans get a nerf, and do you like or dislike that build? Alright, I don't know when they're going to get a nerf. I mean, eventually it's going to happen, but when, I have no idea. Do I like the build? It's probably the best build in the game. It's a no-skill bullcrap build, that's what I call it. You just stand in the back, you pick people up, and you zap them to death in one shot. And then when you have 2 or 3 of those things on the battlefield, I mean, it's the most ridiculous no-skill piece of crap in the game, but it destroys everything. So it's the best build in the game, honestly. It's just a lame... It's lame, but it's the best Titan build in the game. I'm actually amazed that they're not nerfing it on this update. We all thought it was going to get nerfed along with this other stuff, but they're not nerfing it, so... I just like it because it's lame, but I love it because it destroys everything. So, I mean, if you want to get like 90 kills in the game, put that Titan in with the Tonin and Fulgurs. Newton will just pick you up and zap you to death like you're nothing. So, Baby Blue says, how do you cope with the Newtons? Well, you really can't. When there's one on the field, the best thing you can do is somehow sneak up and get close to it and take it out, right? But when there's 2 or 3 or 4 of them, there's really not much you can do, because when you start trying to get close, one will pick you up, and then by the time you're getting set down, the next one picks you up, and then the next one picks you up, and you're screwed. So there's not a lot of good ways to deal with multiple Newtons on the battlefield at once. If there's 1 or 2, you got to be able to sneak up and get close enough to it to be in range so you can shoot it. Now, I think one of the best things for dealing with the Newton, Tonin, and Fulgurs is currently the Rook because of its shield. If one picks you up, you can just turn around backwards in the air, let it shoot you in the back, then you can turn around and shoot it and heal your shields But the shield's really good on the Rook for blocking some of the damage. Now, if it happens to break your shield and zap you, sometimes it can still one-shot kill you, but it's a nightmare trying to deal with those things, honestly. Newtons are very, very, very hard to deal with. I mean, 1 on the field's not so bad. 2 on the field's hard. But if there's like 3, 4, 5, or 6 of them, oh my god, there's not much you can do except for lose. It's redonkulous. Portugal, hey. What do I think about the Cestus? They're very nice weapons. I like them a lot, actually. They're probably one of the hardest hitting weapons in the game right now. Eric G says, run regular flames or harpoons on the Ocho. I would say either one will work just fine. I mean, the Ocho is so strong. Either one would work. Personally, I would prefer to run the flamethrowers. I think the flamethrowers are really fun on the Ochi-Kochi. Harpoons can make you more durable, and you're still going to wreck people, so I think on the Ocho, either one's a good choice, but I would prefer to play the flames myself, but I think that really just boils down to personal preference there. Riptide has got 3 Megalodon Ochi-Kochis. Oh yeah, like Nightcrawler said, locking down an Ochi-Kochi is a really good thing, because if you can lock it down when it starts to charge, it stops it in its tracks, and yeah, if you can lock them down, that's really, really good. Bread says, is Mender worth it? Yes and no. Mender is a great little robot, but I think it takes the right person to play the Mender. You also really need to have the Marilla Claire pilot on it, because that heals your gray damage. Without that pilot, the Mender sucks. With that pilot, it's great if the right person's playing it, but I don't think the Mender's for everybody, so I don't know if you're going to get it and love it, or if you're going to get it and hate it. It could go either way with the Mender. Now, personally, I'm not a very good Mender pilot. I don't enjoy playing the Mender. I suck with it. But some people can do very good with it. Now, the main problem with the Mender right now is the current Rust weapons, like the Subduers, they're making so you can't heal at all. And that pretty much screws the Mender completely. So at this point in time, I don't feel like the Mender is a good choice. Now, maybe after they nerf those weapons, it'll change. But it's hard to use anything that focuses on healing it at the moment with those new weapons all over the place. But when those weapons get nerfed, it might be very viable again. What's up, Rumble? Dark Matter has a 1.5 million hit point Rook. And it gets one-shotted. Yeah, you gotta have that shield. Dark, do you have the pilot skills on the Rook to make the shield stronger? You gotta use the shield to block that initial shot from the Newton. If you don't have that shield up, yes, it'll one-shot you. WR player, what's going on, buddy? So any meta weapons on the Raven will be a really good choice. Now on the question and answer streams, I'm not actually playing the game live. That's just pre-recorded game footage, so you guys have something to look at. I can't focus on reading the comments and play at the same time. I would need more eyeballs. I would need at least a good 2 more eyeballs to make that happen. And then that still might be hard to do. But yeah, Raven's a really cool robot. I was thinking I need to do a Raven video again pretty soon. Rumble? That's not a very nice thing to say. Oh, man. I'm just going to ignore that for now. Missy Scott says it's 42. That's not too bad. It's 14 here, so I don't mind temperatures in the 30s and 40s, but when it gets down to like Much below 30, that's when it gets a little bit too cold. I can deal with 32 degrees, 40 degrees, but when it gets down to like 10 degrees or like minus 97, yeah, not fun. Minus 300 degrees, that's the worst. Portugal says, what about the Ultimate Titan that's coming? Don't know, my man. I imagine it's going to be crazy. It's probably going to be super crazy, but we won't know for sure till it goes live, but it sounds like it's going to be a complete beast. But ultimate versions of anything are probably going to cost you a few dollars or quite a few dollars to get. Now, so far, right? So far, most of the ultimate weapons are extremely good, but most of the ultimate robots are only slightly better than the original, I would say. I would much rather have ultimate weapons over ultimate robots, but I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be the same case with the Ultimate Titans. I mean, I've got a feeling the Ultimate Titans are going to be crazy good, but we'll find out eventually. Right now, the way the Ming is set up, the Ultimate Ming on the test server is just kind of for testing purposes. So the stats could be very different when it goes live. We don't know yet. It could be amazing or it could be a piece of crap. I mean, currently the Ming has a lot of firepower, but it's a squishy turd. It just gets shot out of the sky like it's nothing. So the question is, will the Ultimate Ming also get shot out of the sky like it's a squishy turd, right? That's the question there. So Dylan, it sucks to hear that there's a bunch of Newtons in Diamond League. I think there should be like a league cap on certain robots. Like, I don't think you should be able to have a Newton in Diamond, honestly. That's too powerful for Diamond League. I'm sorry to hear you're struggling down there with those things. Dark, you think 60 degrees is cold? That's like perfect, man. 60 degrees is perfect. Rumble says, I'm sorry. Oh, it's all good. I will say, Rumble, YouTube is very weird about, not really weird, but just be careful what you say in comments and stuff, because you don't want someone to report you and then YouTube ban you or something, because they pay attention to what people say. I mean, I know you spell it a little bit different, but YouTube is very strict on certain rules. So just be careful what you say on YouTube in public. I don't know if that's something they would get mad about or not, but I could see them possibly getting mad about something like that. There's a lot of people these days that get offended over little things. Like, as a YouTuber, you gotta have some thick skin, man. You never know what people are gonna say about you or to you, but you just kind of learn to ignore it or not get upset about things. But you kind of gotta walk on eggshells around most people these days, because everybody gets offended by every little teeny thing in life these days. It's kind of ridiculous. People are like just so offended by everything now. It's kind of crazy. You know, if somebody says something you don't like, just say, all right, whatever. Walk away. Don't have whatever. But people get so worked up over little things. Riptide says, won the stream. I went into a match, Diamond 1, and came out Expert 3. What? You went from Diamond to Expert in one match? Is that what you're saying? That doesn't sound possible, does it? Wait. Is Expert... So is Diamond right before Expert? I'd have to look at the leagues. Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. I might be thinking about it wrong there. Lee Lucas says, I see a lot of hackers. Yeah, you know, unfortunately, there are hackers out there. That's one thing I really hope Pixonic gets working soon, is their anti-cheat thing they've been working on. I know they've been working on it, but I don't think it's as easy for them to get it going as they thought it was going to be, or we probably would have had it by now. But I hope they get that working. I know for a fact they're working on something. And to me, it sounds like it's probably going to work if they get it working properly. It's probably going to be amazing, but I'm guessing since they haven't done it, they're having trouble with it. I'm not sure. But I hope they get the anti-cheat going very soon, because nobody likes a cheater. Edward, I agree. They should be cracking down on the tankers more as well. So the game was kind of designed so you're not supposed to be able to move down in leagues too much, but I think a lot of people know that now, and they got down into a league and they just make sure they don't move up. I don't know, it's kind of a crazy deal. Ega says, Pixonic from where? Alright, so I think a lot of the Pixonic employees are from Russia. Pixonic's owned by a company who's currently has a location in Dubai. They got a location in, I think the Netherlands, or was it Sweden? Like the Netherlands or Sweden and Dubai or something. But I know a lot of the game developers live in Russia. But the company that owns Pixonic has a couple of different locations in different countries. Blake Lee, what's up? What's up? Yeah, who owns Pixonic now? Upwake, I think. Upwake Ltd or something like that owns Pixonic. Yeah, there is something about a location in Cyprus as well, which is a little island. Cyprus is a little island. I don't know much about Cyprus, but Amir says, links with hammer or puncher. Oh, I would much rather run the hammers than the punchers. So, here's the thing about the punchers. They're a little bit weak on damage, but they do lock people down. And punchers, to do the maximum amount of damage, you have to get really close to somebody, because the bullets do spread out. The hammers are the same way. They both have a spread. So the closer you are, the more damage both weapons do. The further away, the less damage because of the bullet spread. But personally, I think that at a close range, the hammers are going to hit a lot harder than the punchers. The only advantage of the punchers is you can lock people down with them. So I would easily be able to play either one, but if I had my choice, I would say hammers hands down. Dark Matter, I don't think you can tell if an Ochikochi's hacking because they're already unstoppable. You can't stop them anyways. I mean, how can you tell the difference, right? Ega says, rich people in the game, not cheaters. Lee Lucas says, what is a tanker? So a tanker is a person who intentionally moves down into the lower leagues with higher end gear just so they can beat up on the lower end players. Tankers are, in my opinion, you got to be a pretty lousy person. It's like a big giant bully who intentionally moves down just so they can like pick on people with stuff that's not as good and just destroy everybody. I guess that makes them feel good about themselves. I mean, it's like Mike Tyson punching a baby, right? That's not right. If Mike Tyson punched a baby, that wouldn't be much different than somebody tanking, honestly. If you're up there with all Mark III stuff and you're going up against somebody who has Mark I level 6 robots, that's not cool. What kind of person does that? Anybody who intentionally goes down in the leagues just to beat up on lower level players is messed up. That's my opinion. Rumble's sister went to Cyprus. Cool, cool. Missy Scott says, not just rich people, it's also kids getting money from parents. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, we don't like tankers around here. Nobody really does except for other tankers. WR player says, I'm on Masters League with some Mark 1 stuff, only 2 Mark 2. So with Masters, you definitely... Alright, put it this way. I made it into WR player, I made it into Champion League with level 10 robots and weapons. I might have even had some level 9 stuff. And I'm going to tell you what, it was a bad experience. So basically what I did is I went into Champion League with under-leveled stuff. And I got my butt kicked royally, and then it would transfer me back down into Expert League. And then I would start doing okay again. And then I would move back up into Champion and get my butt kicked. And that would move me back down, then move me up, then move me down, then move me up, then move me down. And after about 3 months of teeter-tottering back and forth, I was able to get most of my weapons and robots up to level 12 or into the low Mark II range. So it took me about 3 months to go from level 10 stuff to Mark II. And at that point, I was able to start staying in Champion League. But man, it sucked. It sucked being a little bit underpowered for your league. But at that point, you just got to focus on your current hangar. One mistake a lot of people make is they try and upgrade every single thing that they get. Like, they get a robot and the weapons up to like level 8, level 9, level 10. And then they get some new stuff and they abandon the old stuff and start upgrading the new stuff to level 8 or level 9 or level 10. And then they get something new and then they abandon that. And I used to do this myself. And I never had anything above level 10. And eventually what I started doing was, okay, I'm going to pick 5 robots. I'm going to fill them up with weapons. And I'm not going to change a thing until these are maxed out or almost maxed out. So I started focusing on one hangar. And then I got it up to like Mark II level 6 or Mark II level 8 after a while. And that was good. And then, you know, you got to pick something and stick with it. That's the truth right there. You got to pick a hangar and stick with it. You can't level up every single thing that you get, or you're always going to be out of money, out of game money. But yeah, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy to do well on this game or level things up. It takes a lot of playing, a lot of grinding, and a lot of making the right choices, because you don't want to put a bunch of resources into something that's junk, right? A lot of people do that. They'll get something that's really crappy and they'll just start leveling it up, and then they'll find out that it's bad. So, you know, that's where some of us YouTubers and stuff come in. You know, you can always ask us, you know. I know, unfortunately, not all YouTubers have time to answer 5,000 comments every day, but you know, if you come to one of my live streams, I'll let you know if something's good or not if you ask. Or if you ask on a game, you know, just leave a comment. As long as I see it, I do my best to answer all the comments and stuff every day. But you got to find out what's good and stick with it. You don't want to put resources into junk, but you got to make sure it's at least going to be playable once you move up into the higher leagues, if that makes any sense. Yeah, tankers are the worst. That's not fair at all. Riptide, you don't need a summer job. I'll tell you guys what. Here, check this out. Let me look how much game cash I currently have. Let me switch screens on my game. I'm gonna let you guys know something. So I haven't upgraded anything for a little while. Where's my screen at? I've lost my recording software. Okay. Look at that. I currently have like 7.7 billion game cash saved up, right? Now, right about the time that the right about the time that the Curry came out, I think I had about, I don't know, I'm not good with math, but I've gained probably almost 2.7 billion game cash in probably the last 45 days. Now, some of that is from operations. I ain't gonna lie. That's just from getting the operations pass that has all the resources and playing a lot. So I was able to make almost, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 billion game cash in the last 45 days from operations and playing. So if you play a lot, if you spend a decent amount of time playing and you do well, you can collect a lot of silver. Now gold, yeah, that's a little, I'm not really sure how much gold you can earn, but when you come in the top 1, 2, or 3, I think they're still giving out gold and stuff like that. And then if you collect your little daily rewards and stuff, I mean, sometimes you're going to see all kinds of little stuff in here. So like right here, if I destroy 6 enemies, I'm going to get 60 gold. I know that's not much, but every time you do these little tasks and you can collect these, it adds up. It all adds up. So coming in first, second, or third, plus doing all your little daily tasks and stuff like that, the gold will add up. Or if you can afford it, I mean, there's usually really cheap deals in here. I mean, if you want to spend a couple of dollars, which I don't do very often, I can't normally afford to spend too much money, but you'll see a lot of these deals. For like $4, you'll get like, I don't know, 40,000 gold or 60,000 gold for, like right there, there's 20,000 gold for $5. That's not a good deal to me. I wouldn't buy that one, but sometimes you'll see like 40,000 gold for $3 or 40,000 gold for $6. That's worth buying. Now, for me, that's too expensive. I'm not going to spend $6 for 20,000 gold unless I had to. But when I do buy these things occasionally, I wait for the deal to be like super, super, super good. So, but you got to manage your resources properly. You got to know when to buy stuff, when not to buy stuff, and make sure you're spending it wisely. But yeah, gold kind of accumulates slowly, but if you use it properly, it does accumulate kind of fast. But you got to grind your butt off on the game. You got to make sure you're playing enough to earn the resources for one. So yeah, lots of patience and doing the right thing at the right time will get you far in this game. The worst thing for somebody who's free to play though is when you get something that's really good, you level it up, and then they nerf it to the point where it's not good to use anymore. So a lot of free-to-play players won't use new stuff. They'll use old stuff like the Invader, the Fenrir, the Scorpions. They'll get a lot of stuff that's already old because more than likely, those older robots and older weapons that are still good probably aren't going to get downgraded anytime soon. Now, if you get something that's brand new, like the new meta robots that are really overpowered, the new meta weapons that are overpowered, they are definitely going to get downgraded or rebalanced at some point. And sometimes they're still really good after rebalance, but other times they're not. Other times they drive something into the ground to where you can't even play it anymore without getting your butt kicked. So a lot of free people will just wait until, you know, they know something's been nerfed a few times and it's still good. So, hey, let's level that up and play that because we don't have to worry as much about this particular thing being rebalanced again. So as a free-to-play player, you just kind of have to come up with good strategies and figure out, you know, what older stuff is still good. But yeah. What's up, Grandpa Dan? How's it going? WR Player says, I'm just curious buying Mark II on equipment so later I can just max them. So if you're talking about these deals like this, where your whoops, wrong thing. Whoa, wow, I got a bunch of operations pass is awesome for getting data pads. I do get some operation passes from time to time, and you'll get a lot of data pads. I mean, it's mainly the crappy ones. I got a lot of the crappy ones. But you'll still, I mean, the crappy ones give you a bunch of resources and a bunch of components. But when you're talking about buying these Mark II deals, like, you know, like these, I mean, heck, for $12 you can get a Mark II Lynx with 2 Devastators. That's a good setup. That's a great deal. If you can spend the $12 for that, that's not bad. Invader with the Blights for $9.99, that's a great deal. Now, I don't know about this one because Ares is awesome, but I would definitely not put short-range weapons like shotguns on an Ares. Now, if you wanted the Ares and you wanted those weapons and you didn't plan on running them together, I mean, for $10, that's a killer deal for that stuff, so. Now, I don't like the Nether, but these lasers are crap. So I definitely wouldn't buy this unless I just wanted the Nether. Like this, you get a Redeemer and Spears. That's a nice setup for the Angler. So, I mean, yeah, if you buy these things, $8. $8, that's cheap, right? Imagine how much, like, silver you don't have to put into this. Like, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. You're getting 5 items at Mark II for $8. I mean, if you were to buy those at level 1 and then have to buy or grind for all the silver, that would be a way more expensive deal to do it that way, or much more time consuming. So yeah, if you can buy these Mark II deals, that is the best way to do things, honestly, if it's good. I mean, that's cheap compared to buying the resources would cost to level it up. Amir wants to know, is Revenant going to be good in the next update? I don't know. I have a feeling it might, but we're going to have to wait till the buff goes live and test it to know for sure, but I've got a feeling that it will be. I have a feeling that we're going to really like the Revenant again, but I'm not sure. Grandpa Dan, glad you're doing good. Agus says, upgrading modules, why so expensive? So I'll tell you one thing about modules. Whoops, I got the wrong thing on there. Hold on a second. Here we go. So one thing about modules. All right. Modules are movable damage. They're movable defense. You can pull a module off of something and put it onto something else and it's going to work. So spending money on modules, or spending game resources on modules, I should say, as long as that module is relevant, as long as that module is still good, you can put that on any robot you want. So that's a big plus if you think about it. Let's just say you spend your resources on upgrading the robot or upgrading the weapons. Well, if you change robots or you change weapons, those resources you spent on that go down the drain. But the modules, you can pull them off of Robot A and put them on Robot B. So that is movable durability or movable damage that you're always going to have, as long as they don't nerf the module. So spending resources on modules, I know it sucks to have to stop, but if you really think about it, having the modules might be the first thing you should spend your resources on, because you can put those on anything. You're not just spending resources on the robot or the weapons. Those will make any robot or any weapons better. Dark says, what shotguns are the strongest? All right, so Dark, I would say at the moment, I think like the Versant, the Splinter type of shotguns, those are probably the strongest out of them all because they hit really hard and they have a fast reload. Now, if you're talking about the Sonic shotguns, those aren't technically really shotguns, I don't think, but they've got a really long reload time. So you got an initial burst of really hard hitting damage, but then you got to wait forever for it to reload. So in my opinion, overall, they're not as good unless you're playing something like a Scorpion or maybe like a Ravena where you can afford to have the longer reloads in between shots. Now, shotguns like the Mace, Cudgel, and Hammer, no, they're not as good as the Versants, but you know, they're kind of like one step below. But yeah, Versant, Splinter, and whatever the other one was, those are the best shotguns in the game at the moment, in my opinion. I feel like they do way more damage than any of the other shotguns. Like, if you were just sit there and shoot something for 3 minutes straight, I feel like you would definitely do way more damage with those than the other shotguns. Yeah, you know, if you can wait to upgrade your stuff until there's one of those 40% off days, you will get a lot more out of your resources. So that's definitely good advice there, Edward. Thank you. All right, let me read back up to the chat. Edward says the Angler nerf is so harsh. Well, the thing is, the Angler is still a good robot. It's actually, I almost forgot about this, but it can actually almost be a good counter to the Ochi-Kochis, in a way. If you use that properly and maybe run a phase shift on it, plus have the built-in phase shift and blind people, that can be very good still. I mean, it's harder to play now that it's really slow, but the Angler can still be an excellent robot. It just takes a lot more skill to do with it. Like, when the Angler first came out, it took no skill to play at all. It was set up to be fast and just devastating and horrible to deal with. Now, it's still horrible to deal with in the right hands, but you gotta just know when to time the abilities. But it can still be excellent if played properly and set up correctly. Alright, so Yote Gamoger, I'm probably saying that wrong, says, "Hi Danny, from the new broken meta robots, which is your favorite?" Well, I'm not really sure what you consider to be broken meta robots, but right now, my favorite robot in the game is the Curry. It's really good and it's really fun, and it takes a little more skill to play than something like the Ochi-Kochi. What up, Grady White? How you doing today? Randomizer says, can you check the Kestrel drone on the test server? So one thing about the test server is a lot of the numbers and stats are often wrong. So every single week they put together a new test server, and sometimes they're just trying to get it up there and get it done. So sometimes they're just throwing things together. So just because something's numbers are different on the test server doesn't necessarily mean it's being nerfed or buffed. As far as I know, they're not making any changes to that. That's probably just one of those test server discrepancies where somebody didn't get the stats right or whatever when they plugged them in, which does happen from time to time. But just going over to look at the stats on there, I mean, that's not really going to tell you anything. So unless they announce, hey, we're nerfing this or hey, we're buffing this, I wouldn't worry too much about the numbers not matching on a test server. More than likely, it's just somebody screwed up when they made the test server. I mean, I can't guarantee it, but more than likely that's what happened. But then again, you never know. Like when the Al Ming came out on the test server by mistake with 4 weapons, Pixonic did say, hey, that was a mistake. We didn't do that intentionally. And then next thing you know, here comes an ultimate Al Ming with 4 weapons. So we won't know for sure until they announce it, put it that way. All right, Edward said I opened a lot of purple data pads and still can't get a curry. Yeah, you know, unfortunately, some people have super good luck at getting the curry. Some people don't. I mean, there's a lot of people who open one data pad and they got it. There's some people that spend like 30, 40 bucks and got it. There's other people that spend a couple $100 and didn't get it. So unfortunately, data pads are kind of like pulling the lever on a slot machine, guys. You don't know what's going to come out. You might hit the jackpot on the first pull, or it might take you 50 pulls to hit the jackpot. You just don't know on those things. So data pads are definitely like gambling. Dark, more than likely the curry will get nerfed. My guess is they're probably going to nerf the ability cooldown. It's got a very short cooldown, which is one of the reasons it's so strong. If they nerf the cooldown, it might become a somewhat weak robot. So yes, it's probably going to get nerfed in a couple of months. No guarantees, but more than likely. All right, so Everton wants to know pulsars, atomizers, or havocs. I would go with the pulsars with the leech. Pulsars and magnetars are really, really nice weapons overall. I love them both. They do nice damage. They lock people down. They've got 600-meter range. So if you're in doubt, you can just throw some pulsars or atomizers on anything, and it's going to work well for you. Now, for a leech, I don't think I would use a closer range weapon like a havoc. That's going to be very, very hard to keep your leech alive. I mean, when you go into the ability, the leech is going to be very strong for a few seconds. But then as soon as the ability ends, it will die very, very, very easily. So now, atomizers are very nice weapons, and I do like them. Atomizers are great, but I would much rather run a pulsar on a leech than an atomizer any day. The lockdown is really nice. And it does nice damage. Aegis says the loss of Aegis system, pretty much. Grady is glad to see the Ochikochi getting a nerf. I just hope that it makes enough of a difference where it doesn't feel like it's a monster any longer, right? I'm glad that it's getting nerfed as well. Like, I don't like to see things getting nerfed, but when it needs it, it needs it. I honestly wish they would stop bringing out things that were just blatantly overpowered and then toning them down later. It'd be nice if, you know, I can understand maybe if something comes out new, they make it a little bit overpowered. I would understand that, but lately, the last couple of robots and weapons that have come out are like overpowered to the point of ridiculousness, and I don't like that. Edward keeps getting Dagons. Dagons are cool. I like the Dagon. Arok say, hey, what do I think about the Labrys Kisphos grenade launchers? They're very good. They kind of auto-aim. They almost lock onto the target, so it's very hard to miss with those. They do nice damage. I mean, it's kind of weird. You almost feel like you're not doing any damage with those weapons, but anytime on the Battle Wreck account that I've set up a full hangar with nothing but those weapons, I was like, you know, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing any damage here. But when the battle ends, the damage numbers are crazy high. So I think they do more damage than they feel like they're doing. But they're honestly very nice weapons overall. I think they're probably worth upgrading. I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to like them or not. You know, that's always the risk when you upgrade a weapon is, am I going to like playing this weapon or not? But as of right now, they're strong, powerful weapons. I mean, they're not as good as like the Bersants and the Splinters, but they're, in my opinion, they're like one step below those. They may not be like 100% meta right now, but they're kind of like one step below meta, in my opinion. Well, I could play those easily. I could fill up a whole hangar with those and be happy with it. Yeah, Jamil, lots of people still shooting the Ochikochis in the ability. And unfortunately, sometimes it's really hard to know if sometimes it's hard to tell if it's in the ability or not. There's a lot of times where I'm shooting it and I'm like, ah, crap. Or there's times where I'm like, man, do I want to shoot it? Is it out of the ability? I can't tell. I mean, when you're really close to it, I guess it's pretty easy to know, but sometimes I'm just shoot it to shoot it. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but a lot of people just don't care and shoot it. But I think we all make that mistake at times. But yeah, you don't want to shoot the Ochikochi when it goes into the ability, because as soon as it comes out, if you didn't charge it up, you have a chance of killing it. But I do think I have a bad habit of shooting it with certain weapons. Like if I'm running my Titan, I shoot it, right? I shoot it with the Titan because I can really take it down with those Titan weapons. Sometimes if I have like the rust weapons, I'll still shoot at it. It depends on what I'm playing with, but I still probably shouldn't, right? It's probably a bad thing to shoot those no matter what weapons you're running, but yeah, it's a hard habit to break sometimes. Ega says Rook 10 bucks in shop. What is 10 bucks, buddy? 10 bucks? So currently, I think right now, Rook is one of the best Titans in the game. So if you can get a Rook for $10 and you have the Platinum to level it up, I would think that you would really enjoy. I think that most people would really enjoy having a Rook. It's fun to play. If played correctly and built right, it's extremely good. So, in my opinion, it would be worth buying for $10, yes. WR player hopes to add an ultimate Scorpion. They might. You never know. Brandon, hey, nice to see ya. Those of you guys who are paid channel members that pay a monthly fee to be a member of my crazy channel, thank you so much, guys. The support is really nice. I really do appreciate it, so thank you. Channel memberships start at what, $2, I think, for the smallest one. So it ain't much, but it's definitely something. So thank you. Then we got a couple more expensive memberships. I think the most expensive one I made was like $50, but I don't ever expect anybody to buy that. It's there in case somebody's crazy enough to do it, but I expect most people get the $2 one or the $5 one. But either way, guys, thank you so much. All right, I'm reading back up through the chat. So our 2 hours is just about over, guys. We've only got a couple minutes left. So if you've got any last minute questions, get them in as soon as possible. Missy Scott, you out of here? Wait, Missy Scott, what? Missy Scott says, I know this is off topic, but one of the guys has his wife from American Chopper on Say Yes to the Dress. I don't know what you're talking about. American Chopper and Say Yes to the Dress. I know what American Chopper is, but I don't follow the rest of your comment there. Missy Scott says, we appreciate you too. Thank you. Oh, you know what? The other day, I've never seen anything like this. I assume it must have been a game glitch, but the other day I hit my Rook's ability. It shot all the way across the map like it was just shot out of a cannon. I was like, oh my god, like it flew like all the way. Like I'm talking from one end of the map to the other, and it shot past the guy I was trying to hit. I was kind of mad because it ruined what I was trying to do, but it was pretty funny at the same time. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know if maybe like something else had one of those, like maybe an Ochi exploded right when I hit the ability, but normally those things don't send Titans flying, so I don't really know what happened, but it was pretty funny. It was funny. Jamel forgot the question. Oh man. Yeah, you know, if you got a question, it might not be a bad idea to write it down. My memory's so bad, I would have to write it down. Sometimes I forget where I'm at. Like I don't know who I am, or am I live streaming right now? I'm not really sure what's happening, but my memory is about that bad. Say yes to the dress is a show that people buy their dream dress. Oh, I gotcha. I don't really watch TV. Grandpa Dan says, in your video. What's in my video? The dress? No. There's no dress in there. I'm guessing Grandpa Dan's in the video. Yeah, this is an old one. I should probably record some new game footage to put on these things, but I've been too lazy. These question and answers aren't here for the game footage. They're here for me to answer your guys' questions. So that's just something up there for you guys to look at. So it's not like, you know, you guys probably wouldn't want to stare at this for 2 hours while I answer questions, would you? My guess is you guys would get bored and be like, oh, there's nothing good to look at. But yeah, I probably should get some newer updated footage every once in a while. Grandpa Dan was in the video running. Did you have on your running shoes? Click W key. What's up, buddy? All right, so the new update should be going live in about, well, some of the new update should be going live in about 6 or 7 days. Now we might get an update beforehand, but usually a lot of the stuff in the update doesn't go live till the new event ends. So if you look at the event where the data pads are, when you're in your hangar at the top left, you'll see the little countdown timer on the data pad event. And that's when the new update comes out. So when that timer ends is when the new update starts going live. But that's how every event works right there. The new update comes, that event runs out when the update runs out. Hopefully that makes sense. Lee Lucas says, Danny, you do a great job. We appreciate you. Thanks, bud. Grandpa Dan on the Asics. Asics are comfortable shoes. Do I have a favorite weapon? Baby Blue, my favorite weapon is currently the Redeemers. Unfortunately, you know, the medium version of the Redeemers is nice, but it's not a top tier weapon. Now the Redeemers, man, they are super, super good heavy weapons. As long as you don't mind something that's got a little bit of doesn't have a lot of range. If they would buff the Tehran to match the type of Redeemer damage you're getting, man, oh, that would be a match made in heaven right there. But I normally just kind of change weapons. I mean, normally the newer weapons are always the most powerful. So as I get some of the newer weapons, I level a couple up here, a couple up there. Usually run a lot of the newer weapons just because in Champion League, I'm in RH. And I don't know if you can say we're one of the top squads in the game, but we're getting a little more well known as being a really good squad. But I guess what I'm getting at is we do end up going up against a lot of the top squads that have nothing but the very best of the best. And those squads are extremely hard to fight if you don't have the latest and the greatest. Now, if I go do solo gameplay, I don't run into as many people running nothing but the meta. You know, when I go play solo gameplay, you might have one guy in there running 5 Ochikochis, but when we go up against those squads, you go up against like 36 Ochikochis, all with the newest weapons and the best of everything, and that is rough, right? So when you're in a pretty big Champion League squad and you're going up against the hardest squads in the game, you kind of gotta run as much of the new stuff as you can as you get it, or you're gonna be at a big disadvantage if you don't. So I do run a lot of the newer stuff when I can. Now, when it comes to robots, it's to the point where I'm normally only gonna run one of each robot, because when something new comes out, it may be crazy overpowered, but eventually they are going to nerf it. They are going to nerf it eventually. So what's the point of leveling up like 6 Ochikochis when I may or may not want to use them anymore after it gets nerfed? You know what I mean? So I'm to the point where I level up as many of the new weapons as I feel comfortable that I need, and then one of the new robots, and that's about it, because I don't want to level up too much of something, and then when it gets nerfed, it's just worthless, right? There was a time where I would level up 2 or 3 of a robot, but I'm just to the point where it's like, it's almost not worth it anymore. But when you play solo or duo with a buddy, the games aren't quite as hard. They're not as rough. But I'm telling you, man, when you're playing in a big squad against other big squads, jeez, it's rough. It's rough out there. It is rough out there. But what sucks is when you're playing in a squad and they match you up with randoms, and then you just walk all over the randoms because they didn't have it. That's one thing I really wish they would fix in this game, is the matchmaking. They really need to fix the matchmaking up. So I think most of us would be willing to wait a little bit longer if the matchmaking was a little bit better. But, you know, I mean, there's nights where our squad drops in, and even no matter how hard we try, we can't get more than like a 2-pack or 3-pack, and we just walk all over the other team. And then there's the nights where we get nothing but the guys with all the meta stuff, and then they walk all over us sometimes. So it'd be nice if the matchmaking, even if it took longer to make more even matches to where the games were more even, that would be wonderful. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of games where one team just completely crap stomps the other team, and sometimes your team does the stomping, sometimes your team gets stomped. But those unmatched games aren't fair, and that's usually because one team has decent equipment, the other team has nothing but the best of the best, right? They need to fix that matchmaking. But a lot of times it's more fun just to play solo, because even though you're going up with like, even though you're getting players that may or may not be good on your team, the other team's probably going to be the same way unless you're unlucky and it matches you up against a full squad. So Eamon, what's up? I think Eamon's singing over there or something. He says, how do you know? No, how do you know? I don't know. I don't know. That's all I can say. All right. Yeah, matchmaking needs a revamp. I wouldn't mind waiting 2 to 3 minutes for better matchmaking, honestly. All right, everybody. Our stream time is just about up for the day, so if you got a question you just absolutely have to have answered, go ahead and ask it. But our time is just about up, so I want to say thank you for coming out, everybody. You guys are super awesome. Mitos, yeah, thanks for coming out, buddy. It's always awesome to see you. Max. He says you're still doing the giveaway. Currently all the big giveaways have ended. I do have a small giveaway going on right now. There was 3 of the new Titan weapons. I'm not really sure why they only give us 3. Most of the time they give us like 5 or 7 on the small giveaways, but this time they only arranged for 3. So that's kind of a crappy little giveaway just because there's only 3 of them, but it's a really nice weapon. So I do have that going on if you want to enter it. Max, you're welcome, buddy. Hey, Shahib, what's up, buddy? Unfortunately, you're coming right at the end. All right, so you opened 200 data pads, the red ones, and got 4 weapons. Wow. All right, so Max, you would have to go find the video for the giveaway and just kind of follow the instructions. I mean, normally you just have to leave a comment on the video, but it requires you to have you gotta put your player ID, your platform, and there's usually a special code for each giveaway, so all 3 of those things have to be in one comment. I don't remember exactly what the special code was from the last giveaway, but just find the video, watch it. It should tell you all the rules and regulations, or if I don't go over it in the, it might have the rules and regulations in the comment or whatever. But yeah, just kind of find the video and follow the instructions. I posted that video on Sunday, so it was like 3 days ago. You're welcome. But every Sunday, I normally post a small giveaway video, and then usually every time there's a new update on the game, they give me 200 items to give out for each update. So I'm not sure. Lately, it seems like they're not giving us the giveaway till the end of the update, but sometime during every 45-day period, I'll have a big giveaway going, and then usually every week I have the small ones. Quan, you're welcome, buddy. How you doing? Awesome to see ya. XR, if you look at the video, I did announce all the winners on that video today, so I just made a video about the Dagon and the Eiffel winners this morning, so that video will have them all listed on the comment and description. Max says, one more question. All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? And the answer is no. Yeah, go ahead and ask. Derek, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Unfortunately, you're coming right at the end. So Pixonic has a list of people who are banned from giveaways, and I don't think they really put that out there for the public to see. So if you're banned, Pixonic, if Pixonic found out you were doing something they don't like on the giveaways, they may put you on the blacklist, but they don't share that list with the public. All right, so Max, right now I think the Lynx is way better than the Nether. Nether is a really cool robot, but it's a lot harder to play, and it's not as good at the moment. So I would much rather play the Lynx any day over the Nether. Shahib, I recently put out a Fenrir video. That's about as tanky as you're going to get. Unfortunately, nothing's tanky against those DOT weapons. Those DOT weapons are rooting everything. So once those all get nerfed down and they're not doing so much... I'm sorry, the rust weapons. Once those get nerfed down and they're not doing so much rust damage, things like the Fenrir and Invader will become more viable again. But right now, the only thing that feels like a true tank is the Ochikochi, because it's got so much crazy stuff going on, but it's about to get nerfed as well, so. But if you watch that Fenrir video I just put out, that's the best you're going to get for a tanky type of build right now. But once those weapons are nerfed down a little bit, though, it's going to be even better. So, yeah, Luchador is a great Titan. Yeah, healing bots are pretty much dead because of that as well. But I hope they nerf the crap out of those weapons soon, because they're ruining the fun for a lot of different things. Those weapons suck to deal with. All right, everyone. I think that's going to wrap this stream up. Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Moderators, thank you. Channel members, thank you. Everybody who watches my videos and hangs out with me on the streams, thank you. As always, I'll be back on Thursday with a time drop and squad with viewer stream. And then on Saturday, I usually just do a solo gameplay. So hope to see you guys on Saturday and Thursday. All right. Thank you all so much. You guys are super duper amazing. And I do really appreciate all of you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. If I don't see you beforehand. And yeah, catch you guys later.